So the client has delayed kickoff by 2 weeks, but the deadline hasn't changed.
Right.
Are you okay talking about copywriting, resourcing?
100%.
Good. Just need an overview. But do mention your brand research. State your credentials, okay?
Is that really necessary?
Yeah, met Anthony yet. First impressions and all that.
Right. Thank you for the tip.
Well, you're new to the team. Want to get you off to a good start.
Talkwell Education Consultant? Talk is a pun? I know. But they don't have the skills in-house, so there is definitely an opportunity. What's your availability like? Great, Yuri. I'll mention your name. Oh, and update your LinkedIn, dude, because people look at that stuff. No problemo. Us freelancers need to stick together.
Morning. Do
Morning.
you want a coffee?
Is it still from that disgusting machine?
Afraid so.
Then I'll pass, thanks.
And it turns out he hadn't even read it.
Seriously?
I know. But more on that later. Morning, folks.
Morning.
Thanks for setting the agenda. You okay taking the minutes?
No problem.
Kat's meet Holly. She's our new branding guru. Did the brand research project.
Hi.
Hey, so you're our new technical whiz.
RWD, LMS, and integrated systems. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, I can't log into this server.
Good morning.
Anthony, you walk through the door and all the tech goes wrong. You're jigs.
Nice to see you too.
Have you got the cap locks on?
Good to have the expert with us, Kaz. You must be Holly.
I am. Nice to meet you, Anthony.
I don't think we've met.
No, I'm Vic.
Oh, right. I was expecting someone older. Good to put a face to a name.
Yes, I'm sure it is.
Did you see the match on Saturday?
No.
I'm mortified because, honestly, truly, I don't have bias. I judge people on their contribution, not on what they look like. I naturally assumed that somebody called Vic would be older and white. Most people would. But then, assuming is a form of bias, I suppose. Food for thought.
I'm determined not to repeat the mistakes I made with Vic, with Holly. So I'm mentoring her into the role. It's a tricky project, tricky team. Anthony's this maverick in a cardigan. Kat is this super cool super brain. And Vic, I still don't really know who he is.
So things are better than they were. The way Susan backed me up after Anthony's comments. And that meant something. But then Holly interrupted me and she shut me down. Well, it's all about Holly now. I'm just the guy with the wrong name who takes the minutes.
I can see why Susan warned me about Anthony. Wow. I mean, he's basically a good human being, but the stuff that comes out of his mouth, proper old school. No, it's Kaz that gets me. She's as prickly as a cactus. Apart from that, a good start though, right?
As a freelancer, I'm always the outsider. But that's a great place to observe. It's very obvious who the in crowd is here. Susan and Holly and Anthony. Typical academic, like the sound of his own voice. Me and Vic having to listen.
Vic Vicari is our project assistant, and without his hard work, we wouldn't be here today.
But Steve, our HR man, won't be joining us. Last night he started paternity leave a little earlier than expected.
Well, that's exciting news. But the question is, do we feel comfortable kicking off without an HR advisor in the room?
It is a critical meeting, so ideally...
Oh, I
HR
worked with Steve on the branding project, so I know the audiences, and diversity is kind of my thing.
Oh, good point.
We could share the minutes.
Great, so if no one objects. Okay, so today we're kicking off the revamp of our university website to attract talent and diversity. You've all received an agenda. So, returning to the agenda, the project timeline. We go live in 2 months, folks. I'll just let that sink in.
That's less time than we had last time.
And that went so well.
Funky infographics, never again.
Oh, the error reports never ended.
So what have we learned on the tech side?
It's all in the PPR. Designs for available bandwidth, factor time for cross-platform testing, LMS, GDPR. Do you want me to explain?
Well, that may be an old buffer. In fact, I remember the old icon for buffering. But isn't responsive design all app-based now? And all of our legacy systems are GDPR compliant? Or did I miss something?
Time for testing, that's always missing. Based on current scope, we'll need 18 days for testing.
Well, I'd like to see how you came to that figure.
Experience, Anthony. Obviously, we can halve that time by adding more person power. I have someone lined up.
Great. We need to get this moving. Vic, run the figures through the budget and the schedule. See it plays out. Take it easy, Cats.
Take what easy?
Well, you assumed Anthony wouldn't understand technology because of his age.
You're saying I'm ageist.
You deliberately used technological language to exclude him.
He's the one trying to exclude me by saying the last project was all my fault.
I hear you both loud and clear. I respect your technical expertise, Cats, and the shared experience of the team. And you're right, Anthony. Certain aspects of this project should be easier than the last time. And we could have avoided those difficulties if we'd consulted Cats at the start.
Hindsight used well becomes foresight.
So, Cats, how much time do you need for testing?
Based on current scope, 13 days.
But we can have that time by bringing on another person.
I have someone in mind.
Great. Well, we need to get this moving. Vic, run the figures through the budget and the schedule, see how it plays out. So we've already touched on the next agenda item, resourcing. Holly, do you want to pick that up?
100%. So I'm overseeing the visual design and site copy rewrite. I'm putting together a team.
Whoa. You're rewriting all the copy?
Yeah, in line with the brand research project I've just completed. So it just wasn't hitting with our audiences. They found it stuffy and lacking in personality.
I wrote that copy. Stuffy. That's harsh feedback.
I'm sorry.
No personality, is that me?
Well, that's the thing. In person, you're warm, curious, bold, but you are the brand personality, but you just don't let yourself write like that.
Interesting. Well, I'd be curious to hear more about your research.
I'd be glad to tell you.
Holly, you talked about putting a team together.
Yeah, I've got the in-house graphic design team. For the copy, it would be great if Anthony could co-edit with me as the content expert.
If you think I'm up to the job.
Absolutely. We'd also need a copywriter. Jess Lyons has the vibrancy that we're looking for.
She's lovely.
Do you have any ideas, Anthony?
Well, there's a postgrad linguistics fellow I could recommend. Good attention to detail.
Perfect.
But it's all people we know personally. Shouldn't we be widening the net, advertising and interviewing?
In an ideal world, yes, but we've got to deliver this thing in 2 months, Vic. Do we really have the time?
We should do this right, as Vic says, but time is short. What do we think, Anthony?
Well, we want to include more students in communications, don't we? So using postgrad is perfect.
Employing a freelancer is the definition of widening the net.
Jess has a disability. That's inclusive.
I'm not sure that's how it works.
Which is why we need an HR person here.
But the schedule, this recruitment could take 2 weeks, maybe more. We simply don't have the time.
Thanks for your input today, everyone. And we've run over time, sorry. So we will circulate the agreed actions, the revised schedule in the minutes. And it's good to have the project up and running at long last. So, what did you want to talk about, Vic?
Resourcing.
Ah,
Actually, it's more than that.
okay.
Susan, we have to do the internal hire properly. How can we make a website claiming to be diverse and inclusive when that's not who we are as a team?
Are we? I thought things had got better.
So did I. But when we were discussing resourcing, I made an important point and everyone talked it down. I felt like an idiot. But if Anthony or Holly had said it, you would have listened.
Well, that's probably true. But you know, I did listen. And I've been thinking too, I mean, what if one of the people that we recommend isn't up to the job? It's a huge risk. And looking at the schedule, I mean, I don't think we do need all the resources up front. So we might have time to advertise if we cut a few corners.
Maybe someone from the HR team could help. Steve should have a deputy in place.
Yes. Let's set up that call.
So I sent the email. I took a long time over it, a really long time, trying to be clear, not emotional, but saying why it matters. She sent a nice reply, thanked me, said I'd given her a lot to think about and she was looking into it. And in her very next email, she tells me to get Kaz's mate Yuri on the contractor list. So that's how it is then.
He sent the minutes to the client's HR team. Our decision to go ahead without Steve, the whole hiring conversation, verbatim. And that's it. Project's on hold, Anthony's not returning my calls. But you know the really maddening thing? This whole project was about increasing diversity. But that's not going to happen this academic year, not now. I mean, why did he do that? After all we've been through, all we've learned. Why didn't he just talk to me? So, I've called this emergency meeting to find out why there are so many errors in our build, to see if we can improve our process. Kaz, can you give us an insight?
I'm firefighting. I keep getting put off building to correct proving errors.
All you've got to do is cut and paste.
Anthony, let Kat speak.
And that was the design change with the menu too.
I'm sorry, that came out of the stakeholder review. We had to make that change.
I know, but now the copy team is sending me amendments on amendments.
Because your lot seem incapable of getting it right.
I've heard the different points of view, and it feels like we have a bottleneck with Kat's. What's going on there?
I told you. Amends, menu update, more amends, error reports.
Well, don't you have the capacity?
Not for this amount of incompetence.
Hey,
Kaz may be right. We may have a version control problem. Somewhere around draft 4.
just made a local copy.
2 version 5s.
I knew it. You sent me the wrong copy.
Kat's?
Susan, get your house in order and let me know when you have a version I can build.
Okay, so I'm hearing a lot of stress, Kat's. You talked about firefighting, which is exhausting.
Yep.
And I also noticed that you didn't say we when you were talking about your team. You said I. Is everything okay?
Yuri hasn't been well and I tried to help him through it, but
Hard for both of you, especially as your friends. Do you need some extra support on your team? Okay. Well, we can make that happen.
thank you.
And how about the copy team?
Well, we had a few problems with Jess's work. It wasn't quite on brand. And then there was the whole stakeholder thing and...
It's a version control problem. Somewhere around draft 4.
Jess made a local copy.
2 version 5s.
So she must have sent the online one and...
Her version with different changes.
That explains a lot.
So it wasn't Tech's fault.
Bloody hell, how do we sort this out?
We need someone with an eye for detail.
Okay. Splendid. Marvellous.
Okay, we're all a bit stressed. Let's take the heat out of it, shall we? So, round the table, tell me your priority and your obstacle. Holly.
Priority is proofing all the pages. Obstacle, we don't have all the pages.
Okay. Kat's?
Priority, finish pages, obstacle, amends, menu update, more amends, error reports.
Okay, so there's a dependency loop right there. Anthony?
Priority, have a weekend. Obstacle, it never ends.
Seriously?
What she said.
Right. Vic?
Priority, sort out the version control issue. Obstacle, I don't know what people have on their local drives.
What?
Somewhere around version 4.
Jess made an online copy.
2 version 5s.
We updated the online one, but Jess must have sent out...
Her version with different changes.
That explains a lot.
Bloody hell, how do we sort this?
Stop reviewing the build and sending error reports. Confirm a final draft of the copy while Kaz catches up with herself.
I'm liking that.
And that's it. Gone live.
Feels like we should have something sparkly.
Oh, I've got the client's diversity team asking about our resourcing. Cutting corners did not pay off. And what was going on with Kat's and her team?
I mean, who knows? I mean, from our lot, Imran was good, but Jess was a nightmare. I mean, the copy's still very patchy, but I'm working with Tony to fix it.
Tony? Anthony?
Yeah, I'm teaching him the art of blogging. He's finding his voice.
You're mentoring him.
I guess. It's nice to be in a position to help someone else. Pay it forward.
So the site's gone live. Listen, That's the sound of no one calling to say, well done. But you know what? Fine. I'm done with it. I just want my life back.
We got through it. But Susan, one minute I think we've made a connection, the next, I don't expect her to like me, to invite me for a drink or even a cup of tea. I don't need to be liked. But I want to be respected, valued. That's all.